bring dinner to your family?
What's it?
Did you bring dinner to your family?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Are they happy?
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was like Christmas present.
I was in a rush, but they were happy.
Yeah, you had to eat and run, right?
Have you guys taken your picture yet? Is that after?
Did you guys plan to wear blue? Like, was that like a unified decision? Blue?
Oh,
I mean, really, everybody has blue. Hi, Chris. Well, he's got to stick with his Hawaiian theme. That's really interesting. This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, did you see the thing from Lombard South about the pledge?
Yeah, the
That
principal.
idiot. She did. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty. She took out the United States
And God.
and then
Yeah.
comes out afterwards. Oh, I was just so caught up in the moment. I didn't realize I did that. Like, oh, okay.
Like, and someone commented, there was a very
great.
controversial, they were saying, and people on both sides, like, give her a break, and some people were saying, you could say the pledge in your sleep.
Yes.
No matter how nervous you are,
How long,
you don't forget the
please?
words. Like, you can say it again. Yeah. Oh.
Put the pressure. Yeah, I said.
Oh, yeah.
Are you being well behaved and taking care of yourself?
Yeah. Go for physical therapy tomorrow. So
It's your first day?
yeah.
You look great. Do you have to wear a brace or anything?
No. I'm doing okay. I guess. I'm not as tough as I thought I was.
Tell me about it. I hear you. You think you're great, and then you're like 20 steps back. And
Oh yeah. Well, and then when I ended up in ICU afterwards, you know,
I got nothing dry because I'm going to be here.
He just wanted pain meds, relax, that kind of stuff.
yeah. No, I haven't
Get a
had
little
that.
taste of that. It sounds so good.
Dean
For
showed
where?
the computer, you know, your presentations on it.
Yeah, these are on the last 2 weeks. 1 week conference. Last week is It's going to be great. I had to go outside. When I left, I said I had to go outside. This is heavy, yeah. It'll be like Jen.
Hey, Mike, the microphone's not working.
The mic? Yours?
Yeah.
Did you power up?
Yeah, that's the same.
Power up.
There's a power button.
Power Europe, Asia.
See, we were ahead of the game.
Yeah.
It's all good.
It scared
It
Dave.
works. It works.
You know, back in my
Did you find it?
days.
Back in your AV days. Perfect. All right, awesome. You ready, boss?
I would like to call the May 26, 2021 meeting of the Board of Education to order. Will the secretary to the board please call the roll?
Bollig,
Here.
Franchidakis,
Here.
Lang,
Here.
Ruffalo,
Here.
Towns, Triantafilus,
Here.
Williams.
Here. Mr. Wortman, would you please lead the audience in the pledge?
I will.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular session meeting of April 28th, 2021 as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Serge,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Franchidakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Triantafilus.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Follig.
Yes.
Motion approved. At this point, we are required to have a public hearing on, to receive comments regarding the district e-learning plan. Mrs. Haney, please review.
So the Illinois State Board of Education is asking all public school districts to file an e-learning plan. The purpose of the, sorry, start over. The Illinois State Board of Education is asking all public school districts to file an e-learning plan. The purpose of this plan is to provide school districts with flexibility to use in lieu of an emergency day. There are 5 emergency days allocated at the end of every school year calendar. Because our children benefit from valuable in-person learning experiences, we will continue to make up these days at the end of the school year rather than have an emergency e-learning day. However, if a circumstance warrants an e-learning day, the proposed plan will be implemented. So the proposed plan that you have has been shared with our Addison Teachers Association leaders to get any feedback. It's been posted in the newspaper, and we have abided by all the guidelines required. The plan you see is a very general plan. If we were to need to call an e-learning day, then we would be able to have prior notice to be able to provide our staff and families with more specific information about the day. And we're going to ask for approval at the end of the meeting, correct?
That is correct. That is an action item. And Mrs. Haney, thank you for reviewing that. People like to have examples when you talk about why would we use an e-learning day if it's not going to be used for a snow day. The best example that really would be available is in the event that we had, let's say, a large presidential election where the DuPage County Election Commission required us to use our schools for election sites, and we chose in advance to use an e-learning day so we don't have to make that day up, then our teachers and our students and our families would have time to prepare to make sure the kids had their computers at home, staff had what they needed to have at home, so that we don't lose a day. But for all intents purposes, for weather emergencies or those types of events that sometimes come on at the last minute and there's not time to prepare, our intention is to still, as Mrs. Haney clearly stated, would still be to utilize those existing emergency days.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing none, are there any questions or comments from the audience? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn the hearing on e-learning, excuse me.
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah,
Second.
second by Zach. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Triantafilus.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes,
Follig.
Yes.
Franchidakis.
Yes.
motion approved. Is there a motion to approve the accounts payable for the month of May 2021 as follows? Education Fund, $1,171,526.16. Operations and Maintenance Fund, $206,685.93. Debt Fund, 0. Transportation Fund, $200,807.29. Capital Projects, $192,714.48. Working cash, 0. Student activity, $5,337.48, for a total of $1,777,071.34. I need a motion, please.
So moved.
Motion by Serge,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Triantafilus.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Follig.
Yes.
Franchidakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Motion approved. Is there a motion to approve the payroll for the month of April 2021 as follows? Education Fund, $3,201,132.52. Building Fund, $67,868.27. Transportation, $5,944.89. IRMF Social Security Fund, $87,551.77 for a total of $3,362,497.45. Need a motion?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Serge, second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes,
Follig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
motion approved. I have not received any blue cards on agenda items this evening. Our presentation this evening, Ms. Haney will share information with the board on Indian Trails literacy curriculum.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share a little bit with you about the literacy program that we will be asking and recommending for adoption for next year for our middle school. You get to hear me twice, 2 different times. So. Anyway, thanks so much for allowing me to talk to you a little bit about our literature program that we are going to be recommending tonight for adoption for our Indian Trail Language Arts Department. So we're very excited about that. Our pilot team, which includes K through 8, started doing some research a year ago, January, so January 2020, to begin thinking about a new resource for our students. When we were looking at some of the texts that we currently had, the copyrights were from 2002 to 2005. So we definitely know that those resources are not meeting the needs of our students at this time. There's so many changes that have occurred. So our Indian Trail in elementary piloted last year, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that process. So tonight I'm going to share that process with you for researching and selecting resources. I'm going to just give you some highlights of HMH into literature, talk a little bit about the vetting process, what we do to make sure that it's a good resource for our students, and then talk a little bit about the professional development that our teachers will participate in. So again, I talked about last January. We researched, did some researching online. We had 4 different publishers come in and talk about their program. They usually bring samples. We had a chance to look at them, and based on that, we chose 2 resources to pilot last fall, so last September. So based on the input we had and the resources, we chose to pilot McGraw-Hill Study Sync and HMH, which is Houghton Mifflin Harcourt, into literature. So part of that, we always check ed reports. I did put the link on there. It's a very interesting site you can go to. It's just one piece of information that talks about the alignment to standards and then also its usability. So HMH did meet all the criteria in these areas. So we decided to go ahead and pilot these. After our teachers piloted one each trimester, portions of the team complete a criteria for review of instructional resources. It's a document that we use to kind of rate both resources based on a lot of things, and one of them is content, so we want to make sure that it's aligned to the standards. We want to make sure the content is engaging and that it's culturally relevant for our students, and we want to always look at that Spanish piece to see if it's authentic and meets the needs of our students. When we're looking at elementary resources, definitely there are more resources available that are in Spanish, a full program. By the time we get to middle school, the resources for Spanish are a little bit less. So I'll talk about what those look like. So we look at content, the teachers look how it's organized, how it's laid out, the structure of the program. They always look at their assessment resources and the options they have. Some programs allow you to edit the assessments, some don't. And then always looking at those teacher materials and ancillary materials that they would have to be able to teach the standards and use the resource. So they really, after these 2 pilots and completing this document, really decided that Into Literature was the best option for our students for several reasons. Definitely that it's engaging and culturally relevant. I'll talk to you a little bit later and share some of the feedback that we got from students, that the text is of high interest, and that it's the questioning and discussion techniques are of a high level. So we were very excited about that. The Spanish portion really focuses more through an EL lens, like an English learner lens, but they do have summaries and excerpts from the content in Spanish. And our team is going to be working with the Language Arts Department, the Dual Language Arts Department, to plan for providing like that seamless instruction from English into Spanish using writing responses and presentations in Spanish. So we felt that that would definitely meet our needs. As far as being personalized for all students, the digital tools are definitely personalized. The students really love the fact that the text can be read out loud to them. They can highlight words and phrases if they needed to, if they're looking for key words. They can hover over words and it gives them definitions of the words. Many visuals and videos are available as well that make it a little bit more personalized for students that might need to read something again or hear it read out loud. It's also very flexible, so there are supplemental activities for students that are either potentially working above grade level or maybe need a little bit more support. There is an assessment component to it that the teachers are still working through and getting used to. They're usually very complex, those assessment pieces. And there's also embedded in there, we will get professional development, but there's also videos that teachers can use as resources to help guide them and give them a little bit more of a foundation after the training as to how to utilize the materials. So after we make a decision, we, as part of our decision, we always look at teacher feedback, student feedback, and then we do reference checks as well. So when we talk about teacher feedback, some of the feedback that we got from the pilot teachers is, again, they really felt that the text was very rigorous, was challenging for students, but in a good way, that they could still support them. That the activities encourage students to engage in deeper thinking, opportunities for discussion, collaborative conversations, which we didn't get too much this year, but actually our teachers did a nice job of figuring out how to do that by doing breakout rooms through Zoom, and then some of the students that were in person as well. The Spanish content that is in there is authentic, and as I said earlier, it does provide summaries in Spanish of the content. This will help teachers plan for that seamless instruction between English and Spanish. So our students at this level are getting, I don't want to say it's like half and half every day, Spanish and English, but there is a balance overall of 50-50. Also, the digital component is very easy to navigate. It's interactive, and the teachers are pushing assignments out through Google, so they like that. And they liked that the units were created by theme, so it's they felt that it was organized and cohesive. Some of the student feedback that we received is the students really felt that the stories that were included, that they could relate to, that they were diverse and very respective of different cultures, and really allowed students to learn more about different cultures as well. Our students obviously love technology. They found that those interactive features that I talked about earlier were very beneficial to their learning. So the highlighting, the audio, the definition of words. The series also included video clips with other kids their age that discuss the text, and the students loved it, they said. They loved getting in there and seeing what other kids that were their age and the discussions they were having about the text, so that the kids thought that that was very helpful and engaging. They thought that the pictures and the graphics were very visually pleasing. They liked having a lot of that interactive videos and things like that. Also provided videos to provide some foundation. So if it was a new topic for students, they usually provided videos for the kids to watch prior to, build a little background knowledge. And they did feel that the website was easy to navigate as well when teachers would push things out. So then, after we chose that, decided that we were going to recommend HMH, we got the teacher feedback, student feedback. we did some reference checks. So I reached out to our rep at HMH who provided me with some school districts in the area that are actually using this resource. So I was able to contact these school districts, so in Westchester and in Elgin, and get some feedback on, did the kids like the resource? How was the professional development? How was the customer service? That's always very huge when Dr. Losi and I look at resources. That's one of the key things that we look at, because it really makes a difference if we need something, especially in that first year of implementation, that somebody's very responsive to us and will help us out with anything that we need help with. So we did that, and those were positive, so we felt good about that. And then as far as the professional development, and as part of the quote, there is an introductory training, which we are scheduling for August for the teachers. And then they will offer follow-up webinars throughout the year. So as we probably check-ins 3 times throughout the year, as they use the materials, they obviously come up with additional questions and needs. And then we did also include just some coaching throughout the year. We're not sure what that will look like, if it will be in person, if it will be virtual, but we'll be working with them to work with smaller groups of teachers to actually coach them with utilizing some of those materials. So later on tonight, I'm going to be asking for your approval of this recommendation. We're very excited about presenting this, and our K through 5 teachers felt, because they teach so many content areas, the committee members felt that they did not want to make a decision this year, so we are going to continue to pilot next year. They didn't feel that they had enough in-person experience, whereas at Indian Trail, the kids are a little bit more tech savvy. Our teachers, they're content experts in this area. They teach three double period classes of language arts, and so they really felt that they got a good feel for the resource and were able to provide some good feedback. So I think the rest of the team that didn't get to pilot is ready for a new resource, so we're very excited about that. Does anybody have any questions?
As far as your reference checks, how long have they utilized this system?
So this version is newer, so 2 years.
Okay, so 2 years during COVID.
They had 1 year prior to COVID.
Okay, so do you feel you still got enough information from them?
I do. I mean, I have questions that I ask, and we actually had a meeting. It was through HMH, so we were all together, and we were able to talk and ask questions. And so I felt that the feedback that they were experiencing and that they gave me, that they felt that this resource was meeting the needs of their teachers and students.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Comments?
I have a question, Donna. So as far as the product itself, will there be a physical textbook as well, in addition to the ebook?
So the teachers did request that they would get a class set of the anthology. So it wouldn't be for every student, but there would be a class set in every room. So I love to hold a book and look at it and read it. So that was the only thing that they asked for in print. And then there were workbooks. So they were workbooks that kids could annotate in, but they really felt that the online portion of that was sufficient, that they could print out what they needed and not have this consumable workbook that we would have to purchase every year. But we did purchase the anthology as a set for each of the teachers.
The other question I have, I know the district utilizes Clever and stuff for like rostering. Does this product integrate with Clever as well? Okay.
Yeah, the pilot teachers, they used, it was all loaded, up for them.
I know the training here and stuff, with things kind of slowly returning back to normal, is there any plans for this training to be in person with our staff?
We are trying. In fact, our last conversation, our rep asked we need to provide them with our guidelines for COVID so that they can decide and we can decide too if we are going to ask them to come into the building or if it will be virtual. So it will be a mutually agreed upon. So if they don't feel comfortable with our guidelines, they could say it has to be virtual. But our hope is that it will be in person.
They'll be comfortable with our guidelines.
Thanks.
Any additional questions from the board? Thank you, Mrs. Haney.
Thank you.
Normally, everybody knows in May, we recognize our student council officers and sponsors over at the Village Hall. And it's a sad year that we're not going to be able to do that again. But it's my understanding that a presentation has been put together. Mr. Langton.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. And as I cue this up, or I do my best to cue this up, I do want to say a couple of really important comments regarding the work that our student council sponsors, so those employees who help our student leaders who are future leaders, to kind of navigate providing leadership for their schools and organizing efforts to do good things in our community and to bring our students together. So I want to thank all of those sponsors, but I also want to especially acknowledge the hard work of all of our students. Mr. Williams is correct that every year we really enjoy getting together over at the Village of Addison in that larger venue, have all the families come out, and it's a shame that 2 years in a row now we're not able to do that. This year, thank you to the school principals, the student council sponsors, and Mr. Dean Konstantopoulos for putting together this video that still gives us the next best thing. So again, please enjoy what our students have to share with us, and we will be expressing our gratitude to them for all of their hard work this year.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Marino and I teach first grade at Ardmore Elementary, and I am also the student council sponsor. We've had an awesome year planning special events and spirit days via Zoom with all of our reps and candidates here. And today we have Kevin Diaz here, who's going to share a little bit about what we've done this year. Kevin?
What we did at student council is that we had a site that allows us to go into the Zoom meeting. We also have a link that will take you to our spirit days, like Cat Day, Green Day, and so many more. Each month we have a spirit day. But since school is almost done, we had an idea that we should have a balloon countdown. Each day Ms. Doman pops a balloon, and it will tell us what spirit day we have each day. And some of my favorite spirit days are Pajama Day because I get to bring pajamas to school. I also like Cat Day because I get to bring a hat. And the last one that I like is Race Day. We had it today because I can raise my friends and do it with different things, and that is what we do in student council this year.
Thank you, Kevin. On top of everything, we're very grateful to have Ms. Doman here as our principal. She's allowed us to do a lot of fun activities, and all of our student council reps and officers have done a great job this year at putting together some creative ideas to help our Ardmore school community be amazing. So thank you very much, and we really appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ms. Zatarsky. Hi, I'm Mrs. Clark. We are co-sponsors of Army Trail Student Council. We're going to hand it over to our president, Lila Ocampo.
This year was a bit different because of COVID-19, but we still made it through, even with all the difficulties and challenges we faced. We still did the Flipgrid posters, we did the posters for the ABC countdowns, and all that fun stuff. And we even created a Google site so we could stay in touch with other people around the student council community, so we could do all this stuff. This year was pretty different, but either way we still made it through.
Hi, I'm Miss Piscopo, Fullerton's student council sponsor, and I am very pleased to introduce Kendall.
Hi, my name is Kendall, and I'm a 4th grader at Fullerton. I'm on the Student Council Executive Board. I wanted to join Student Council this year because I wanted to try to make this year as awesome and as fun as we could make it. This year was hard, but we made it. This year we created Spirit Weeks every month. We made them so remote students and in-person students could participate. We made a theme for each time, and we tried to make them fun. We also had our annual Pennies for Patients fundraiser. This fundraiser takes place during the month of March, and the money goes to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. Even during this challenging year, we were still able to raise $755. We have also created our annual ABC Countdown to the Summer. This is a lot of fun and everyone is enjoying it. Look out for Tea for Talent show coming soon on Flipgrid. Student Council is planning on doing something special for the teachers at the end of the year to thank them for all their hard work during the school year. We can't wait to see the smiles on their faces. Bye!
Hi, hello, good evening. My name is Kirsten Kelly and I am one of the Student Council sponsors here at Indian Trail. And I'm here to introduce Alexandra, who will be able to talk about all the awesome things we did at Indian Trail.
So I'm the Student Council President here at Indian Trail, and over the course of the year we have done several activities to help IT in our community. First, we hosted an officer election where each Student Council member who wanted an officer position made a flipgrid and we voted. Kira L. is our historian, EDC is our secretary, Sophia B. is our treasurer, and Jennifer B. is our vice president. To help our community, we recreated cards for the nurses that said thank you for your help. We decided to create these cards to show the nurses that we appreciate them, especially during the hard times of COVID-19. Student Council has also created a fun activity for remote or in-person learners to do. Each member of Student Council created 1 to 2 slides with a question and answer. Ms. Kelly and Mrs. Pavliska then added all these slides onto Kahoot. We made the Kahoot a holiday and the end of the trimester too. While majority of the students were at home, we wanted to show what a positive learning environment looks like. Therefore, we took videos of our desk/areas we worked with. Student Council started a t-shirt contest with our IT t-shirt design. We had several participants that were very happy with the outcome. This was a fun activity and that allowed students to show their creativity. Lastly, we wanted to give the teachers a little gift for their hard work and determination, especially during the remote times. I'm a student and my mom's a teacher, and I see how difficult this is for the teachers. On Monday, we are giving donuts, Tuesday sodas, Wednesdays cookies, Thursday pretzels and highlighters, and Friday sour candies. Thank you.
Hello to all of our ASD4 board members. This is Dave Smoker, the principal here at Lake Park. I'd like to thank you again for the opportunity to share all the wonderful things that our student council members have been working on this entire school year. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Willis, who has been our student council sponsor for many, many years. Ms. Willis?
Thank you. So this year we have had an amazing year, and our student council reps are for our president, Thomas Sutton. Our vice president is Kenneth Dela Cruz. Our secretary is Leslie Hernandez. Our treasurer is Alexis Murphy, and our environmentalist is Amira Williams. And so today we have 2 different student council representatives here to join us to help share a little bit about what we've done. They are Alexis Murphy and Leslie Hernandez. So we're going to turn it over to them to share some of the fun things that we've done here at Lake Park this year.
Hi, my name is Alexis, and today I'll be sharing a few things that I enjoyed about being a treasurer and student council. Firstly, I loved when we made our cards for vets because it was really fun and we got to write what we appreciated about for our vets. I also enjoyed when we read out loud what our theme day was. I enjoyed making our A to Z theme days. Those are some things that I enjoyed about being a treasurer and student council. Thank you. This is Leslie.
Hello, my name is Leslie. I am the secretary of the student council. I will be telling you some things that I loved about the student council and of being the role of secretary. If you are a secretary, you need to share the old theme days, and it's really fun. And you're the one who needs to write down in the agenda, which is also fun. Some things I like about student council is how we get to have fun by choosing the theme days. It might not sound fun, but it's because you get to share all your ideas. It's also really fun that we get to decorate cards, and those cards go to the veterans to make them feel better. These were some things I enjoy about student council and the role of secretary. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Graniani. And I'm Mrs. Savalio.
And I'm Christina Godinez. We had a fun and exciting year during the student council. We did a lot of cool things virtually in person. We had a Halloween and Christmas dress-up contest, which a lot of students participated in. We saw so many cute and creative outfits. We also sold candy grams for Valentine's Day outside after school. We celebrated Read Around America by having an awesome Spirit Week. We brought breakfast from Panera Bread for the teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. They all loved it. We're looking forward to having a virtual talent show for our Tea Day during the 26 days of celebration that we plan together. We are excited to continue celebrating the rest of the year, even though it's been a little different year. It's gonna be a great one. I love student council because it's really fun. Go Bulldogs!
Hi everyone, my name is Katie Flessner, and along with Chloe Sanzenbecker, we've been the co-sponsors for our student council here at Stone School this year. Right along with us, we have one of our 5th grade student council members, Gargana, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what we did this year. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Gargana. I'm a 5th grade student at Stone Elementary School. During the 2020 to 2021 school year, I was a Stone School Council member, along with several of my other peers. We worked with Ms. Flessner and Ms. Sandenbacher to come up with ideas that we could incorporate school-wide for kindergarten through 5th graders. Some of these ideas include a fall family photo collection, wearing pink during Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October, providing all students with boredom busters over winter break, giving our friends a flip group shout out for Valentine's Day, having a book cover contest during Read Across America Week, celebrating Earth Day, showing our teachers and staff appreciation, and of course, creating monthly Spirit Weeks to show how much we love our school. We did a lot to bring our students and staff together, even when we have to be far apart.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Eve Anderson. I am a 1st grade teacher at Wesley and the sponsor of Student Council this year. Despite this being a very unusual year, our Student Council worked hard to lift spirits at Wesley and give back to our community. I am extremely proud of all they accomplished. Our 4 officers worked together to make Wesley the best it could be. They were excellent role models for their peers and were leaders throughout the school year. Ashley is going to talk more about the great things we did this year at Wesley.
Hello, my name is Ashley Ferguson, and I am the Student Council President at Wesley School. As my term comes to an end, I'd like to share some of the exciting things that Wesley Student Council did this year. We decided to focus on giving back to the senior citizens in our community through a partnership with Clarendale of Addison. We made cards throughout the year for the residents of Clarendale, including happy fall cards, holiday cards, and Valentine's. We also held 2 Clarendale Wesley socially distanced socials throughout the year. We were able to connect with our friends at Clarendale on Zoom, and we had some great discussions, including one about our experiences with COVID-19 and how it compares to their experiences with the polio pandemic. We really enjoyed connecting with the Clarendale residents this year and are hoping to continue this partnership for years to come. Throughout November, we ran a food and hygiene product drive for the Addison Food Pantry. Students and staff gave generously, and Wesley donated large quantities of food and hygiene products, which is appreciated this year more than ever. In April, we asked students to post a photo or video on Flipgrid of themselves recycling something at home to highlight the importance of taking care of our earth. To lift spirits at Wesley, we held theme days, including Dress Up Day, We're All One Color Day, Football Day, and Baseball Day. We also put together a holiday spirit week before winter break that was very fun. In January, we made positive, encouraging signs to display throughout the school for the return of students. As the year draws to a close, we are preparing to pass the torch to the new officers for the 2020 to 2021 school year. We held our election virtually in the middle of May. Candidates recorded videos of their speeches, and then everyone voted on their Chromebooks. We would like to thank everyone who continued support of Student Council and our activities. A special thank you to Ms. Anderson and Ms. Ahart for all their support, encouragement, and willingness to help out whenever we need them. It takes an entire school to make student council the success that it is.
Well, definitely wasn't as much fun as having the kids there, so. But anyway, we're down to committee reports. Last Friday, there was a Lynn meeting. You have the PowerPoint presentation in your packet. A few of the things we talked about were state talking about districts being required to administer 3 assessments a year throughout the year and looking for a provider for that. And our question along those lines is, hey, can't we just use the MAPS program that we use right now and get reimbursed from the state for that instead of going through a whole new process? As far as some of the bills that are out there, I'm just going to highlight a few. Senate Bill 654 was originally a bill that was for unstructured play during the day for 60 minutes a day for students, which is, where are those 60 minutes going to come from?
And that originally was kindergarten through 8th grade.
Yes. So they adjusted it downward to 30 minutes a day, but now they put in stuff like, well, you can't count the time it takes a kindergartner to put on their coat and their boots and stuff to go outside and to get undressed. So it's got to be specifically 30 minutes. So there's still some arguments going on with that one. House Bill 2789 is, in my opinion, another case where government agencies are trying to do power grabs over school districts. It has to do with if there's another emergency dictated by the governor, it would give other agencies the right to come in and dictate how a school runs certain things. That's in, I won't get into all the specifics on that. Senate Bill 818 was the sex ed bill. They removed the mandated part of it, and it's become much more flexible, and that's also changing. Senate Bill 813 is to use average student enrollment using previous student enrollments going forward, so you're not affected by declining enrollments because of COVID issues and whatever may happen in the future. And that would be all the way through 2024. We also adopted a budget, the new dues schedule, meeting dates, and voted on the executive committee slate, of which Mr. Keeley is on the executive committee. Mr. Keeley or Mr. Langton, do you have anything else to add from the meeting? Okay, any questions from the board? Okay, oh, and that was a Zoom meeting, and hopefully next year we'll be in person again. The other committee meeting we had prior to tonight's meeting was our budget meeting. Chris Tasso, myself, Mr. Keeley, Mr. Langton attended. Basically what we were doing was looking at new figures, comparing it to the March figures that we looked at, with the main things that are affecting those figures right now is the CPI is going to stay the same for fiscal year 22, but we're estimating CPI going up in 2023, 24, 25, 26. And then also it's factoring in the federal relief funds of about $8 million now in the new figures. And then those are the increase in revenue, and some of the increase in expenses were new insurance rates for workman's comp and liability, or comprehensive coverage. And then the tentative budget will be presented to the board in June. Anybody else want to add anything to our meeting? Mr. Keeley? Nothing? Okay, thank you. Okay, we're down to administrative reports. Superintendent Langton.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I'd like to start off by thanking all of our employees, our teachers, our paraeducators, school secretaries, all of our contractual service groups, food service, custodians, bus, et cetera, crossing guards, for all of their hard work. This has been an extraordinarily challenging school year. We have 9 days of school left for the year, and that's it's exciting to see it to come to a close, because our commitment is to return to 100% full in-person learning next school year. So at the end of August, our goal is to have all of our children with their butts in seats learning in an optimal way. We do know that there are some things that right now are beyond our control, and so as we have shared this clear message with our families, that message went out last week, and our principals have continued to reinforce it. We are monitoring everything that is going on, and we are going to be involved in making decisions, most likely through the summer, about how we can ensure that not only are we following guidelines, but that our schools will be as safe as possible for 100% of our students to come back in person. The one variable that I think everybody is aware of is that the pending decision about approval for vaccines for eligible children under 12 years old. Right now, 12 and over are eligible. And so as soon as that news comes, we certainly will address who is eligible for the vaccine, who is not, and then who will even have an opportunity, if at all, for a remote learning option. Our preference, again, is to have everybody in person. I have exciting news, and I apologize it wasn't in my report for our board members, but I did get confirmation earlier today that in partnership with District 88, we will be providing a clinic, a vaccination clinic for children 12 years and up. So all of our, basically most of our middle school students and all high school students at Addison Trail High School. We have a meeting scheduled for early next week with the staff at the high school to iron out the registration details for parents, et cetera, but information will be going home. That clinic will take place, the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine, on June 21st, and that's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The second dose will be on July 12th, 2021, and again, that is the Pfizer vaccine that we're going to be making available. So we're excited about that because it's going to be just over 900 doses that we're going to be getting through OSCO, Jewel OSCO, which was one of our other providers for the adult clinics that were held previously. And again, a big thank you and shout out to District 88 for their collaboration with hosting it at Addison Trail High School. Our staff will also assist with managing that clinic. So, and then as we learn more about the under 12-year-old vaccine, the availability, we certainly will be interested in hosting opportunities to make it as easy as possible for our families to have access to that vaccine. What that's going to look like yet, will it be in our schools, will it be at Addison Trail? I don't know yet, but I promise you that we will be vigilant with making sure we have quick access to it and make it available for our families so that they can make decisions. That is, in my opinion, that's welcome news. I also wanted to, with great heartfelt sentiments, thank this Board of Education and previous boards of education for giving me opportunities over the last 25, soon to be 26 years of providing leadership in this wonderful Addison community. I did inform all of our employees on Monday that my family has decided that I will be retiring at the end of next school year.
Jill decided.
Jill decided, and she's earned that right to make that decision, and I honor that. But again, I do just want to thank everybody for their support through the years. I am the luckiest superintendent in Dupage County without exception. And that's because the Board of Education has been supportive, and quite honestly, our employees do a rock star job with serving all of the needs of the kids in this school. So there's a lot of work to be done in the next 13 months. Our Board of Education will be considering a vote this evening on hiring an executive search firm to find my replacement. As Mr. Towns eloquently said earlier, this is probably one of the most important decisions that a Board of Education makes. And I'm looking forward to the decisions that this board makes, because I think the future in District 4 and in the Addison community is very bright. So again, thank you for that. And the only other piece in my report that I wanted to confirm is that we did have 2 FOIA requests. Thank you to Mr. Wortman for responding to those appropriately. And that is all that I have.
Any questions for Superintendent Langton?
Yeah, can I just ask, so working through solutions for providing remote learning for students who are ineligible. So let me say this. I think that the under 12 group will not be eligible until at least late September, just based on what the drug companies have published. So it seems like we may have some students who are unable to return. Is one of the options we've looked at, and I don't know if this is feasible, is collaborating with other districts who plan on providing a fully remote option? Like, I think U46 has said they're going to have a full remote option. If we have a handful of students who have immunocompromised family members, that would be an option. Is that something we could potentially look into, or is that not feasible?
Yeah, I wouldn't rule anything out, quite honestly.
Okay.
I think the challenge that you have when you do cross-district platforms like that or programs is the differences in curriculum, standards, teaching styles, expectations. It's like just a very complicated thing to bring together.
Right.
A school district such as U46, which is the 2nd largest school district in the state of Illinois, their bandwidth is so large.
Sure.
Example, we did, as you know, we surveyed our parents to find out interest.
Right.
We only had 4% of our students. That's quite honestly, that's like 144 kids. That's not enough to make it feasible. So our goal still remains 100%, and we know that.
Yep.
But if we do have to, so if the vaccine is not available for our elementary age kids generally, we still will make in person the priority. But if we have to provide the option, we will look at what the available options are. And my team is looking at that right now. One of the options is to continue doing what we're doing right now, which is not my preference. It's not ideal. It's very cumbersome. Our poor teachers, our poor paraeducators, our poor kids struggle to find success with that for obvious reasons. But there were a lot of frustrations over the last month on this topic because the Illinois State Board of Education originally revealed that they were going to sponsor a virtual school. And we were excited about that. Mrs. Haney attended a meeting on it, and we quickly found out that, no, it's not going to be available for elementary age, even though that's what they originally said. So we're going to keep at it and see what options make sense so that we can make the best option available for our kids as possible.
And that's what I think. We're going to have, again, 50 students who can't do in person, and so what happens to them? I think it's not the majority. Most students will be back in school.
Yes.
But understanding what that plan is for that small group, I think, is important.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree. Thank you.
Did you have anything else?
That was all in my report. Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Langton. Mr. Keeley.
Definitely not making a retirement announcement. Thanks for reminding us. Just a couple quick updates. First of all, for facilities, Mr. Dirk is, every month meets with the principals and has been working with them based on all of our schedules for this summer work to prepare us so that we are ready to blast off as soon as ICI mobilizes. And then as far as internal projects that our facilities department is currently working on and plans to work on during this summer includes a whole lot of painting, kind of gussying up some of our spaces, working with custodial on deep cleaning, and working on the exterior lighting at all of our buildings. He's actually done some reconnaissance in the middle of the night and looked for some spots that weren't quite getting light, and he just mapped it out, and we'll be working with the B&G committee at their next meeting to plan out some additional lighting. As far as construction is concerned, 2021 is about to get going as soon as school is over. We have a great plan for that. There's extensive scope to it because we are changing out pretty much every door in the district, door-and-door hardware, between last year and this year. So there's a lot of coordination with the principals, with our curriculum folks, with summer programs, et cetera. Also super excited for our meeting on Flag Day with the B&G committee to show them, John and I saw a sneak peek, but the 3D schematics and rendering for the new Innovation Center here at Indian Trail. Just going to be remarkable. So very, very exciting, something to look forward to. Our employee benefits open enrollment is done and dusted. I am proud to say that we had 0 people in my office crying the day after it. So everyone got enrolled that was looking to. Special shout out to Jen Bonema, our Director of Business Services, for her hard work on that. And she's now just finalizing all of that. So we're ready to be covered on July 1. As Mr. Williams talked earlier, we had our budget committee meeting. I'm just seeing this now. Around the time I put this report together a couple weeks ago, Mr. Kuko and I had gotten notice from our E-rate consultant and Dr. Losi that there is potential for even more grant money that we did not know about, which is in the form of connectivity relief money. And the numbers are staggering. We are not clear on what we will be eligible for, but we certainly have plans on looking for currently planned expenditures that can be applied towards that grant. So stay tuned on that. We will update, and our hope is to have a little more clarity for that, certainly by the time the final budget comes to the board in September, maybe even for the tentative in June. And last but not least, we're going to be making a fund transfer, or recommending a fund transfer later tonight with the board. Just a heads up, and I will explain more of it later. That's all I have. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Keeley? Thank you. Mrs. Haney.
Thank you. The first item on my report talked a little bit about instruction, but Mr. Langton covered that, so I don't need to repeat what he said. So going to summer school update, we're really excited. We've been meeting regularly about summer school. We have some great facilitators and leaders that are just doing an awesome job of planning, and they have hired 46 teachers and paraeducators to serve 522 students that have enrolled in the program, so we're excited about that. The last month our numbers were a lot lower, so we extended the window, and our principals did a great job of reaching out. So we have about 522 students. There'll be 82 kindergarten camp students. That's up actually from when this report was submitted, and they'll be at the Early Learning Center. 121 first and second grade students at Ardmore. 190 second, third, and fourth grade students at Army Trail, and then 139 students at Indian Trail here for 5th, 6th, and 7th grade. So we're very excited about that. Some of the resources we're going to be using, Scholastic Lit Camp, they've been very supportive and are actually helping us create daily units, our daily plans and lessons for our teachers, because some of our teachers are teaching different grade levels, so we want to make sure that they have some plans that will be easily implemented and effective for our students. We are, that program will be utilized for all of our students, and we will also be, currently, our teachers in elementary use the Envision Math program. That's a Savas program, which is previously Pearson. And they are, we've been working with them, and they have created some of those lessons for our 7th and 8th grade students as well, so that we will be using that resource throughout the summer. It's a separate summer program that they have created that, because we already have a relationship with, that is all included in our contract. So we're very excited about that. And both of the programs are aligned to standards, and as I said earlier, that the teachers will be provided with the curriculum for both of those content areas. Also, our dual language students, depending on their grade level language allocation, will receive their instruction in English and or Spanish. We also have supplemental resources. We wanted kids to get excited again about math, so they'll be using some manipulatives, playing some games. Our math committee came up with some manipulatives and game recommendations that the team will be utilizing some of those. And the pre-K students will be screened when they come in, and they will participate in the math backpack program. That's what we've done. We did that last year, and it was very successful. So right now, in general, there's a limit for our K through 7th grade students of 15 students per class, and about 7 to 8 students for our pre-K class. So we're very excited about that. There'll be small classes, and teachers will really be able to provide individualized instruction for our students. So we're very excited about that. We meet again on Friday, so we just keep planning, so it's going well. And last but not least, again, the Indian Trail Language Arts Department is implementing summer reading again. they've been doing this for several years, and every year they try to figure out ways to make it more engaging for students. So this year, they decided they would offer choices for kids. So typically, they have denoted one book or maybe two, and this year they gave kids choices, and so I think the kids were really excited about that. So I did list the choices that they will be able to pick from, the students will have opportunities to participate in Meeting with Excellence activities, and we are using Title I funds to purchase the books, so that is very helpful. And our language arts team is already planning opportunities to have conversations and participating in activities that have to do with these books in the fall. So it's we're very excited about that. And as students drop off their Chromebooks in June, they will pick up their book choice, and then for fifth grade they will be delivered to the elementary schools so that at the end of the year they can take them home. And that's all I have. Any questions?
Good question, Donna. The summer school program, how long is it? How many weeks?
It's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, okay.
3 weeks in July.
As far as the staffing and stuff that we have, how many of those individuals are current District 4 staff?
Right now, they are all, and we are, still have, for our teachers, we still have one vacancy right now, but everything else is filled by our own staff, our District 4 staff.
And we anticipate filling that final vacancy with our own employees. too.
Without a doubt, yes.
Thank you.
Any additional questions? Okay, thank you, Mrs. Haney. We're down to action items.
Thank you, sir. Our first action item is the acceptance of a resignation request. Mr. Wortman.
Thank you. So I'm presenting to the board this evening for approval the resignation requests for the District 4 employees outlined in your board docs this evening, and they'll also be mentioned, obviously. The resignation list includes, in the area of licensed personnel, we have 4. We have Tara Corral, Diane Ferguson, Jennifer Fletcher, and also Tamana Haig. In the area of educational support personnel, we have 1, and that's for Laura Romero. So I recommend that these requests be approved this evening.
Is there a motion to accept the resignation requests as presented?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Serge, second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Triantafillos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franstrakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns.
Motion approved.
Our second action item for this evening is the acceptance of a retirement request. Mr. Wortman.
Thank you. Since Mr. Langton did provide us information about his retirement, we do have to put some formality into it. So this evening, I'm presenting to the Board of Education the retirement request for Mr. John Langton, Superintendent of Schools, effective at the end of the 2021-22 school year. As you know, Mr. Langton has been employed in the district since 1996 and has served as principal, assistant superintendent, and superintendent as well during his time here in the district. He has made a huge impact on all of us, and he will be sorely missed. But we have 1 year to work with him, so I do recommend that the Board of Education approve this request this evening.
Not going to do it. I'm not going to call the motion.
You're in big trouble.
Is there a motion to accept the retirement request as presented? Motion by Jim, second by Serge. Questions or discussion or comments?
We'll save the comments for later.
Roll call,
It's a roast.
please.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franstrakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Triantafillos.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Back to the real business of the school district. Our next action item is the approval of employment and change of assignment requests. Also, Mr. Wortman, could you review that?
Thank you. So I am again presenting to the board for approval the employment requests and or reassignments for the following people. Their names are outlined in your board docs and mentioned again this evening. In the area of licensed personnel, we have a number of them. We have Letty Beristain, Maria Bloom, Damon Kiltica, Susan Kiss, and also Cynthia Saavedra. In the area of educational support personnel, we have Ileana Castillo and also Araceli Ruiz. And we do have 1 change of assignment, and that would be for Sandra Chavez Rivera here at the Indian Trail. So I do recommend that all of these requests be approved this evening as well.
Is there a motion to approve the employment and change of assignment requests as presented?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Jeremiah, second by Zach. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Follig,
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo. Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes, motion approved.
Our fourth action item for this evening is the approval of a one-year administrator contract. I do recommend, with great enthusiasm, that the Board of Education approve the contract with Mr. Chris Jamrose as the next principal of Indian Trail Junior High School.
Is there a motion to approve the one-year administrator contract as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah,
Second.
second by Tasso. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Follig.
Yes.
Motion approved. Chris? Welcome to the new position. It's a tough job over there.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I will do my best to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you for that approval. Next, we have the approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Dupage High School District 88 for the Director of Biliteracy position. As I had explained previously to the board, we are committed to paying for 50% of the director's salary. All of the benefits will be paid by District 88. Mrs. Haney and I were involved, along with a couple of other staff members, in the screening and vetting process for candidates, and then the application, or the actual interviews. And we're very excited to bring this position in. It's going to do not only a lot of good for our students in Addison, going from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, but also on the other side of the District 88 school district, there will be great coordination with the other feeder elementary districts in the District 88 as well. So I do approve that intergovernmental agreement to memorialize this commitment for the next year.
Is there a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement with District 88 for the Director of Biliteracy as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Serge,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes,
Follig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
motion approved.
Next, we have the approval of the school district's e-learning plan with the Illinois State Board of Education. And Mrs. Haney, could you review that, please?
So as I said earlier, the Illinois State Board of Education is asking all public school districts to file an e-learning plan. The purpose of the e-learning plan is to provide school districts with flexibility to use in lieu of an emergency day. We respectfully recommend that the Board of Education approve the ISB e-learning plan as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the district e-learning plan as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jim,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes,
Follig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
motion approved.
Seventh action item is the approval of the Indian Trail English Language Arts materials purchase. And again, Mrs. Haney, could you review that, please?
Sure. This year, the Indian Trail Literacy Committee members piloted materials from HMH into literature, as well as one other resource. We are recommending that we move forward with the purchase of a 5-year contract with Into Literature from Houghton Mifflin Harcourt as our primary resource to implement the English language arts and Spanish language arts standards. Materials include digital and print for general education, dual language, and accelerated classes. All reference checks for HMH and Into Literature curriculum materials were strong and emphasized their effective customer service and professional development support. We recommend that the Board of Education approve the purchase of Into Literature materials in grades 6 through 8 for the cost of $146,375.08. We will be utilizing ESSER funds for this. This cost includes materials, digital and print for the 5 years of the contract and writable for 1 year of the contract. Professional development and coaching sessions are also included in the cost. We respectfully recommend that the Board of Education authorize the administration to proceed with the purchase of Into Literature resources for Indian Trail as presented.
Is there a motion? Is there a motion to approve the Indian Trail Junior High School's ELA material purchase as presented? Motion by Jim,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Our next action item is the approval of the reappointment of school treasurer and renewal of treasurer's bond. You may remember that we are required per school code to annually file a notice of school treasurer along with a copy of the annual treasurer's bond to the Dupage Regional Office of Education. I do recommend that Mr. Tim Keeley is named as that school treasurer, or reappointed as the school treasurer.
Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of Mr. Tim Keeley as school treasurer and the renewal of the treasurer's bond as presented? Motion by Jim,
Second.
second by Serge. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns.
Motion approved.
Our next action item is the approval of the resolution to transfer funds from the Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Capital Projects Fund. And Mr. Keeley, could you review that, please?
Certainly, thank you. So as we do on a periodic basis, we track our capital improvement investment that is made and make transfers within our funds to properly fund such expenditures. Before you this evening, you have a resolution to transfer $8 million from the Operation and Maintenance Fund to its sub-account of Fund 60, Capital Improvements. Therefore, I respectfully recommend the board approve that resolution as presented.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution to transfer funds from the Operations and Maintenance Fund to the Capital Projects Fund as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah. Second by Jim. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next, we have the approval of the exterior painting bid. Mr. Keeley, can you review?
Certainly. Mr. Dirk and I worked with his team to identify areas around the district for exterior painting, areas that are seemingly becoming in certain disrepair from an aesthetic standpoint. This includes the full exterior painting of the maintenance garage. So those of you that like the pink maintenance garage, I'm sorry. The soffits, fascia, columns, and doors at Ardmore, Army Trail, and Wesley, and the exterior doors at Indian Trail, Fullerton, Lake Park, Lincoln, and Stone. So you may recall from a couple of years ago when we did our first renovation here at Indian Trail that included the main office, we painted a lot of the exterior columns. That was 2 years ago, and ironically, that was done by Midwest Decorating, who is the lowest apparent bidder to this project, and those have held up nicely. So we're very excited to move forward with this project and present some new clean-looking exteriors to our students and staff upon return at the beginning of next year. As you can see, we had 3 vendors that bid. There's a huge spread there. Always kind of nerve-wracking. With the good news is Mr. Dirk did a complete scope review with Midwest Decorating. Midwest Decorating was the primary paint subcontractor for the 2019 construction under Northwest Contractors, so they're a known entity for us. Therefore, we're very confident in making the recommendation that the board approve the contract with Midwest Decorating, the lowest responsible bidder, in the amount of $69,400.
Is there a motion to approve the exterior paint bid as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah, second by Zach. Questions or discussion?
I should have asked this question. Shame on me. What color are we painting the maintenance garage?
Salmon. Oh.
No surprises. I'm just saying. Same color? Purple.
What is it?
You've put me on the spot. I do believe that it's going to be a earthy tone that matches the brick of most exteriors of our buildings.
Good answer. Salmon.
I know that was the answer I got when I asked the same question.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Bollig.
Yes.
Franchakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo. Towns.
Yes.
Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes, motion approved.
So we have one more bid to consider. Mr. Keeley, could you please review the consideration of the bleacher repair and replacement bid?
Yes, so we have 2 bleachers here at Indian Trail, one at the main gym, Gym 1, one the auxiliary gym, Gym 2. They're original to those particular areas of the building. And over the past couple of years, the cost of maintaining them and getting them recertified has escalated to the point where we considered replacing them. We put a bid out to either repair or replace to 3 vendors, one of which was J&D Bleachers, who has done all the repair work for us, but are also a competent installer. They chose not to bid. We did receive a bid from Carroll Seating, who has done work here in the district in the past, as well as Larson Equipment. Larson Equipment was the apparent low bidder. They're also the company that's responsible for all the pocket cafeteria tables installed at the elementary schools over the last 2 years. We did Mr. Dirt did a scope review with the gentleman from Larson and confirmed their shop drawings. Therefore, we respectfully recommend the board approve the replacement of the Gym 1 and Gym 2 bleachers in the amount of $108,097.00 to Larson Equipment.
Is there a motion to approve the bleacher repair and replacement bid as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah,
Second.
second by Zach. Questions or discussion?
What color are the bleachers going to be?
It's an earthy tone.
Mr. Williams, I do want to provide clarification that this work would not be done until winter break, correct?
That's correct, this winter break. So we're working with our new administrator at Indian Trail to try and make sure that we can get this done within the Christmas break timeframe, winter break timeframe.
I had a question, Tim. Is the reason why it's being done over winter break, is it due to just the worldwide shortage of lumber, or was that just the best time to do it?
I'm going to be totally honest and just say it's timing.
Yeah.
You know, we brought this up at the last Buildings and Grounds Committee meeting, and one of the vendors, Carroll Seating, actually said, we think we can slot you in this summer, but the other 2 weren't capable of it, and they feel confident that in that time frame of winter break they can do it. So it's really all the same to us that we do it then.
And how old would you say the original bleachers are? If you had to think
I will yield to Mr. Langton.
Original to the building.
Yeah.
So you're talking late 50s, early 60s.
Wow. Okay.
Old and wood. The new ones are aluminum, right?
Are they aluminum or wood?
They're the poly that you see. It's like I don't want to say it's plastic, but it's a poly material. Yes, that's a little more
they're not
durable.
wood, okay.
Mr. Ruffalo's initials are carved into the side of one of them.
Roll call, please.
Franchidakis,
Yes.
Lang,
Yes.
Ruffalo,
Yes.
Towns, Trentafilos,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Our 12th action item for this evening is the approval of data backup system. And maybe just pull this up real quick. So thank you to Mr. Kuko for his research. So the Unitrends data backup device is now 3 years old, and support for it is up. Support for it is up for renewal. We have a pledge program where when 3 years of support are purchased, a new device will be shipped at a greatly reduced cost. There are 2 prices within the memo, and from GHA and Dell. Sorry for my hesitation, I was having a hard time seeing the memo. So we do respectfully request that the board approve the purchase of that backup device with GHA as the lowest bidder at $62,027.37.
Is there a motion to approve the data backup device renewal as presented?
Second.
Motion by Jim, second by Serge. Questions or discussion?
I'll ask the question on behalf of Serge. What color is the data backup device?
It's a nice black steel cabinet. It's not earth tone.
Actually, I did ask a question offline in an email, and that was, if that was the right solution for, obviously, the recent cyber attacks and ransomware that we've seen out there, if it's scalable and it truly protects the district data. It's good to hear that the data that we have, that we don't really store any financial data of our parents or students, so that's good news.
Yep.
But the platform that we're actually looking at acquiring does do some sort of ransomware check, which is great.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. T. Yep.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Lang,
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Frangidakis.
Yes.
Motion approved. I did reach out to the board members about where they'd like to be on board committee assignments. All the board members did respond. I feel that everybody's pleased with the positions they got. Is there a motion to approve the board committee assignments as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Serge,
Second.
second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion?
Yeah, I had one suggestion on the CAC that we could do like rotating members on that. I think I know there's more than 2 members interested in that, and I think it would be a good opportunity for the other members. When I say rotating members, speaking of board members, the other members of the committee would get a chance to meet different board members.
Well, I know we've done a similar thing with intergovernmental meetings and things, so once this evolves a little bit, I think we can look into that, so. Any other questions or comments?
Just that we don't, the one that's empty is the Partnership for Inspired Education. I don't know how, I mean, there's a description here clearly. Is that something that's critical, or we won't significantly miss out if we don't have a representative?
I appreciate you asking about that one. So as you know, we have a foundation, and thank you to Ms. Bollig for serving on that, with that group. They will appreciate the board's representation on it. The PI Foundation is a little bit different. So the 4 school districts that make up our compact group, the 3 feeders into District 88, we have had, for probably the last 13 years, a joint foundation called the PI Foundation. And there's typically one fundraiser a year. We haven't had that in a few years.
Okay.
So it is, I wouldn't describe it as critical.
Okay.
There are, we did a big drive this past school year through the PI Foundation to get toiletries and household goods for our communities across all 4 school districts, and that was very successful. But I don't feel today that it's a critical need to have a board representative on that group.
Okay.
However, if that group starts to build up some momentum and there's more of a need for regular meetings, I will come back and suggest that to you.
Okay.
In the past, they've actually done dinner, play, silent auction thing, and they were real successful. But
Yes,
then
for a
it just faded away, especially during COVID.
Okay, because I mean, I see that it's similar work, it sounds like, to the District 4 Foundation, and so I would be happy to serve in that capacity if and when the need arose.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Frangidakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Motion approved. We received our renewal for our membership in Illinois Association of School Boards. Renewal amount is the same as last year, $7,082. Our membership in IASB, we end up getting board member training out of that. We also have the conference that we attend because of the membership. They also are instrumental in putting together our board policy. It would cost us tens of thousands of dollars if we did not have them as the leader on all the legal mumbo jumbo that goes into board policy. So is there a motion to approve the Illinois Association of School Boards dues for 2021-22 as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Serge, second by Jim. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Bollig.
Yes.
Frangidakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Motion approved. Our last action item is for hiring an executive search firm to hire a new superintendent. As I just mentioned about Illinois Association of School Boards, they also do that, executive search services. And I was involved with meeting with them, and then the entire board met with them and felt that they were a good firm to go with for our superintendent search. The cost for that would be $10,400. The public probably won't see any activity from them until about the beginning of September. The board needs to meet with the search firm again to firm up some issues. So is there a motion to approve the contract with IASB for executive search services as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Jeremiah,
Second.
second by Zach. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Trentafalos?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
Bollig?
Yes.
Branchakis?
Yes.
Lang?
Yes.
Ruffalo?
Yes.
Towns?
Motion approved. We're down to discussion items.
Please remember that the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be Wednesday, June 30th, right here at Indian Trail Junior High School, and that will be a 7:00 p.m. meeting. Also, just a reminder, not only to our board members, but to our community, that the promotional exercise for our Indian Trail Junior High School 8th grade students will be held on Sunday, June 6th at Addison Trail High School. Tickets are required, and there will be two different ceremonies, one at 2:00 p.m. and the second one will be at 4:00 p.m. Board members, you will be receiving additional information from me on reminders about what time we'd like you to report to the high school, and information. We'll have some food and snacks because it's kind of a long period of time, and we'll have a little bit of time in between each ceremony while students and their families depart and then the new ones arrive. So thank you for dedicating your Sunday to celebrating with our 8th grade students. As I said earlier, our last day of school for all students will be it's in 9 days, on Tuesday, June 8th, and the last day for our teachers will be the next day, which is Wednesday, June 9th. Board members, please remember that the annual joint conference that Mr. Williams just referenced is scheduled for November 19th through the 21st, and that is again in Chicago. Please make sure that if you have not communicated with Mrs. Stelter, regarding your participation at the conference, please do that tonight so that she can start preparing the registrations, which takes place the first week of June. So please make sure that you touch base with her. If you don't know, certainly like in the next day at the latest, just so she can be ahead of the schedule with making our arrangements. And then Mr. Wortman, could you please provide an enrollment update?
I would love to. So, as you all know, we do encourage our families to complete the registration process for the 21-22 school year prior to the summer holiday. If you remember, we utilize the online format, which has really made it quite easy for families as well as our school offices as well. To date, district-wide, 51% of all of our returning students are fully registered. Another 21% have begun the process, but are not yet complete. And unfortunately, 28% have not even begun the registration process. So our registration process opened up, or the portal opened up the week after spring break, and it is our wish to have as many families registered prior to them leaving for the summer holiday. So we do encourage our families to reach out to all the school offices if they have any questions, obviously to complete the registration, but if they do have any questions in regards to how to use the format or any kind of questions they have, that they communicate with their school office as soon as possible. Our school offices will be open throughout the month of June, and our administrative assistants and our principals do a great job in, I don't want to say hounding families, but they really do, to try to get them to register as quickly as possible, to invite them in, to sit down with them, to go over the portal and how to navigate it, just so that we can have as many registrations completed prior to, or in anticipation for the startup in August. So again, we really want them to try to complete those registration process as quickly as we possibly can. Any questions from the board in regards to enrollment?
Next, we have a review of our club activity summary, those activities for this
Perfect.
year.
Okay. As you know, our schools are slowly ending the club and activities for the 2021 school year. Our sponsors have provided a yearly update or a summary in board docs of all the plans, of all the clubs and activities that they have implemented this year. Obviously, the format for our clubs and activities was far different than ever before due to the pandemic. However, our sponsors did work hard and to make the best of it truly, and to work and to keep all the students engaged in all the activities via Zoom. So please enjoy the summaries. I think our sponsors enjoy showcasing everything that they have done throughout the year in regards to clubs and activities, and they are kind of fun to read, so please enjoy.
Okay, next I want to extend a thank you to Carrie Cartman, our Assistant Superintendent, for all her hard work every year on our federal grants. As you are aware, we receive quite a few dollars, roughly $2.7 million for grants, Title I, Title II, Title III, IDEA. We are required to file with ISB what's called a Consolidated District Plan. We're also required to notify the Board of Education, of course, that we have done our due diligence and filed that. Carrie has not slept for the last month because she's been pulling all of this together for us, and I assure you that all of the boxes have been checked and the plan is in place and is filed. So that's just your notification. Next, I did want to confirm for our Board of Education and the community that information inviting our community members to apply for the Citizens Advisory Committee was put out earlier this week. Thank you to all of our principals and to Dean Constantopoulos for getting this information out, and there will be plenty of reminders coming as well. So our school principals will be including this with their weekly newsletters to families at the end of this week, again next week, and Dean has been pushing it out on social media. It's on there's a dedicated piece on our website now under the Board of Education, so the community members can go and get information about the CAC, and that'll also be the place where we post any information in the future relevant to the CAC. I do want to share, because we've had a couple of questions about kind of the process, and so our board policy is very clear that community members who are interested in serving on the Citizens Advisory Council should submit the application, which is readily available, to the school principal. So somebody asked me, well, if I don't have kids in school and I live in the Fullerton attendance area, can I still apply to be on the CAC? Absolutely they can. But we do ask that they just submit that application to, in that example, to Mr. Craig Bennett, and then Mr. Bennett will submit those applications to me as the superintendent after the deadline of June 11th. At that point, what happens is, this, per board policy, the superintendent will develop a recommendation to the Board of Education for a 10-member committee. And I assure you that partially because of what board policy states, and also because it's the right way to approach this, that I will review applicants through an equity lens with the intention of having a variety of qualities and experiences represented on our Citizens Advisory Council. So that recommendation will be coming to the Board of Education at the June 30th board meeting. Board members, I will share information with you prior to that through my weekly update so that you are fully informed prior to that board packet being put together. Okay? So are there any questions about the Citizens Advisory Committee? Nope.
John, the board's going to vote on the 10 members?
That is correct.
All right.
Yes, sir.
And then a correction, our June board meeting will be at 6 o'clock, not at 7 o'clock.
Thank you. That was my mistake. I apologize for misspeaking.
Well, we're going to point out a lot of those over the next year.
So that's new, right? And then finally, we did not have any formal electronic communications to and from the board that we received. So, and that is all that I have, Mr. Williams.
Okay, thank you. I do have a blue card from Mr. Dan Medina. Dan, I know you're in the audience. If you'd like to come up to the microphone to address him, or I can read it off the card. Just go ahead and read it? Okay. And Mr. Medina obviously is a parent of students in our district. Number one, is the expectation that if vaccines for under 12-year-olds is available, will this be mandatory to attend in person?
So the answer, if I'm reading it correctly, Mr. Medina, the answer to that question is yes.
Well, the vaccine won't be mandatory.
No, the vaccine is not mandatory. So the Illinois State Board of Education made it very clear in a clarifying FAQ this past week that they are not requiring children to be vaccinated. That is correct.
But if it's available, that means the student needs to be in person. There will not be a remote. And that's the same for your next question on the junior high, or on the over 12-year-olds.
Yeah, so the word that the State Board of Education is using is students who are eligible for the vaccine. That's the key phrase. So once they are eligible, if it's available and approved for that age group, and they're eligible, there will not be a remote option for them.
Does that answer your total question? Okay, thank you.
Thank
I don't have any other blue cards. Is there any miscellaneous or unfinished business to bring before the board this evening? Hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn the Wednesday, May 26, 2021 Board of Education meeting?
So moved.
Motion by Serge.
Second.
Second by Jeremiah. Questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Williams.
Yes.
Pollock.
Yes.
Frantrakis.
Yes.
Lang.
Yes.
Ruffalo.
Yes.
Towns. Trentafalos.
Yes.
Motion approved, meeting adjourned, and thank you for coming this evening.
Board members, I do want to ask, we are going to take a picture up here. First, what we're going to do is we're going to move all the computers